Okay, so we still have our document open. Now, what would be next is the following. Where you want to add the image. If you want to add the image in the top of the document, or maybe next to your text, then don't click. If you want to, let's say you want to add the image this side of the text, don't click on this side. Still click to the left of the document. Even if you think of adding it to the top right of the document, like over here maybe, still click on the left side of the document. Reason being that getting the image to show on this side is not done by the place where you put the image, but by the code that our editor will add to the image link. Okay, next you will click on this little button here, insert or edit image. If there was an image, you would click on that image if you want to change it, and then also use this button. So you'd click on it. Depending on your internet speed, it will quickly pop up and show you a nice control panel. This panel is the image control panel. If the image is already been added to your website, either by you having uploaded it previously, or maybe you know about it for some reason, then you'd simply click on the image and it will show you a little preview here of that image. It will also give you the dimensions of that image. Now, as you can see, this is quite a big image, but it serves a big purpose. On my website, if you open it, you'll see that my website has this image almost across the whole page. Nonetheless, at the same time, that image that you have selected will be previewed here in its relation to the text. Now, it's of course just using demo text in here. This is not the same text as actually in the document, but it shows you that the image will only have the text shown from the bottom, and there will be this big blank area. It will better show if I select another image. In fact, let me upload that image that we prepared. To upload an image, you shall click on this button here, upload. Before we do that, you'll notice that we are in the image root folder. And in the image root folder, there is a few folders already. Depending on your website, there might be more or less folders here. If you know that there already is a folder for the specific article or content, then do go to that folder and upload the image inside of that folder. It's not so easy to move images around, although there is such features as copy and insert and other. Yet I would suggest a better way is simply to browse by clicking on the folder, and it will open the folder. We clicked on stories, so now I'm in stories. If I wanted to go even more into the folder, I could use this folder layout here. If you have a web shop, then usually your web shop's images would be placed into this kind of structure. If you don't want to put it into a specific folder, you don't really mind where it is placed. In fact, then you just use the first folder that it opens, and this would be the root folder, and you then click on upload. Now here you can either do one of two things. Let me just open my desktop here. Here is my desktop folder. You could take the image that you have prepared. There is our image. And you can drag and drop. If you let go of it, it places it into the uploading queue. The other way to do it would be to click on Browse, go to Desktop, and click on it. Now, we've added it twice. We don't need to, so we can just click the delete button here to remove it. Once your image is in this queue, you will click on upload. Once it's uploaded, that little dial-up will disappear, that little box, and it should show you the image. If you've uploaded more than one, which you can do, then that will mean that not all of the images would be shown in a preview, maybe just one of them. You would then just use this sliding bar here to go to the image you want to use now and click on it. Once you click on that image, it will update over here, and you will see that it's now placed in images, and that's the name. And usually the name of the image will be used as the alternative text. Now, alternative text is actually required according to the XHTML standards. You always hear me, not always, you've heard me speak a few times about this XHTML standards. The standards are things that helps us to render your website consistently and coherently across multiple browsers and platforms. So as close as you are able to stick to those standards, the better. This editor that we are using currently will actually help you along quite well. And if you don't know the standards, it will still add it correctly. The only time that knowing the standards would be important for you is if you are actually adding HTML yourself. Now, this alternative text, if I wanted to give you the simple explanation, some people browse the websites and they are maybe vision impaired or something in the matter, and then they have a device which reads the websites for them. And so they would not see the image, but they will hear that there is an image. It will say image, and then it will give this alternative text. It will read that. And if that's why, if you want to be descriptive of what this image is, you will use the alternative text to explain that. Don't make it long. Make sure it's just one word, at the most two. If you start making sentences of this, it might be unnecessary. A next feature here that is important to note is, as I started previously explaining, that this preview box gives you an idea of how this text, this image, will actually be presented inside of the text. Now, if you want the text to wrap around the image, then you would need to set its alignment. Unfortunately, there is not a way to place the text in the center and wrap the text the image in the center and wrap the text on the left and on the right. There is not such a function. There is a function of having the text wrap on the left side. Sorry, having the image aligned to the left and then the text wrapping on the right, or the image aligning to the right and the text wrapping around it on the left. Now, there are other options here as well. Top. Now, top doesn't mean what we might expect. It means that the text will put one sentence at the top of the image and then directly after it the next. The rest, there would be no wrapping then. If you click on middle, it will put the starting text in the middle of the image and then the rest underneath it. And the same with bottom. The default, or if none is selected, is also bottom. We will usually select left or right. Now, the next thing that you need to think about is the margin. This text is now very close to the image. Now, we don't really want that. The first block here represents the right margin. The next one, the bottom, and this one, the left margin. Sorry, I've said it wrong. the first one presents the top margin, the second the right, the third the bottom, and the fourth, this block, the left margin. Now, if you are content that all the margins be equal, you'd simply click 5 or 6 or whatever pixels you want it to be giving space, and then click somewhere else, like in alternative text, so that it updates the preview, so you can see the space that it now has added. If you think, no, I don't want the image to also stand away from the left side, only from the right and the bottom, you will untick the equal values, make this 0, and then also 0 here. Now the image would be aligned and against the left side and the top, and only have space on the right and on the bottom. If you think, no, you don't want to have space on the bottom as well, you'd simply change this also to 0. Click elsewhere and see how it looks. I usually make the bottom space not that much. Wait, let's make it 5, just the way it is. Okay. Once you're happy with what you see, there are some other features here as well, which I'm not going to explain now since we're just busy with the basics. But you're welcome to explore them and see if they are of any use to you. Do remember that the rollover function, nonetheless, I just mentioned that, is not the best option, since it does not actually behave the way usually one would expect. Anyway, we're not going to look at that. You'll click insert once you're happy with what you're seeing here, and that would then place the image inside of the text for you. If you were to hide the editor, you would see that there is the image, the code that adds the image to the text. And so it's added the margin, it's floated it to the left, it's used the width and height by default. Why? Because when you once clicked on the image, it will look at the image and add the width that it sees the image actually has. So there you go. Now, to save these changes, you would click Save and Close. We have successfully added an image to the homepage article. Let's also add a link in this homepage article, a link to another website, or a link to another article, or a link to another menu. To do this, you would simply select any part of your text and click on this little insert or edit link. This will also pop up a little control box, which is where you would basically add all your details. This box here is where you add the URL to the other article or document. If you do not know what the URL is, the URL usually is found in this area here at the top of the website. There are different ways for you to get this URL. The easiest one is, if you know the page that you want to link to, you'd simply go to your website and copy that URL from the URL bar. If it's another website, then you will open that website and you will copy the URL and then paste that URL into this box. Always make sure that it adds the HTTP double point and / this also to the URL link. Usually you do not need to be sort of added yourself, since if you copy this whole URL, it will have it in the copy that you've brought over already. Now, this target box here gives you the option to either let if someone clicks on that link, that it opens in a new window, or that it opens in the current window, or open in the parent window frame, or open in the top frame, replacing all frames. I usually suggest, if you are going to another website, that you open in a new window. This way your website will remain open. Then you can type in here, click here, or something that you would want to pop up when the person browses with his mouse over this text. And that's the way how you will add a link to an external website or page outside of your own website. If you instead wanted to add a link to another article or to another menu in your website, you'll make use of this links in this square. You can, if it's just another article, you click on content. Oh, sorry, that's contacts. Content. Demonstration category. And then select the article. History. It will then update this URL link for you automatically if you clicked on the document. If instead you want to link to a menu, you would click on menu and the menu group, which we'll still look at more later, and then that specific menu. Since the home page is actually the website's address, this one, and that there is nothing following after it, if you want a link to the home page, you would simply denote it this way. Although, having said that, I think the best way would be to actually place the URL of your website in there. That would be most consistent and safe. Anyway, that's how you would link to an article, and that's how you would link to a menu. If you are using the default contacts of the Joomla website, which most of you don't use, since we have implemented a far better contact form for you, then you would not use this. But if you are using the default, then you would simply click on the specific either group or category or uncategorized of the contacts. But anyway, you can play around with that and find out what would work best for you. This would be just to add to content and to a menu. So let's say we want to link to frequent questions, and then click. We've added the title here. You do not need to be concerned about any of these other features, as they are a little bit more advanced, but you're welcome to look around. Now insert it. Now you'll see that it's actually added the link to the text. Here you see the code that implements that link. And always have a closing tag when you have an opening tag. Okay, now to submit these changes, we will click Save and Close. In the next video, we will show you how to link to this article through your menu structure.